Captain's Log Supplemental. The whole crew has been turned into anthropomorphic mozzarella sticks with squiggly arms. The ship's kindergarten teacher tells me one of her students drew something shockingly similar in a picture hung up in the classroom. That same student, turns out, is currently glued to the wall of our transporter in some sort of cocoon and slowly draining the power from the ship. The worst part about all of this, though, all our chairs got changed into dip containers. They're all full of ketchup.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Stanford, and I am joined by my two friends and co-hosts, Rob.
Hello?
And Chris. Wait, you're not Chris?
I am not Chris.
Ah, Chris has been replaced this week by our lovely listener and my adorable father, Chief.
Hi, nice to be here.
Oops, all Stanfords.
Oops, all Stanfords. And we are joined by our lovely producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
Yes, we are graced by Chief's presence this week because Chris is in Mexico. Not because he's running from like the law, but because he is on vacation with his family.
That's what it sounds like.
He's self-deported.
Captain's Log Supplemental is a Star Trek rewatch podcast. We're rewatching all of Star Trek in chronological order, starting with Enterprise. We made it through the first half of Discovery, and now we are in season 2 of Strange New Worlds. If you like what you hear, or if you don't, I don't care. Lie. Go ahead and leave us a review. Give us a rating. Give us 5 stars. We are 5-star people, no matter what my father said. And share us with all your friends, your family, etc. So famously, Dad, you hate banter, so are you just not allowed to banter while we do it, or?
I didn't say I hate the banter. I think what I said was the banter had expanded since the earlier episodes. Because you remember I listened to the first couple seasons of Enterprise, and then I kind of lost track in the last couple seasons of Enterprise and the first half of Discover. And of course, I'm picking it back up for Strange New Worlds, and the mix has changed during that gap. So I just noted it. I don't know. Maybe you guys should just be more entertaining.
God damn.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember you dropping off the podcast because I guess your phone wasn't picking it up for a while. And that was about the same time that you raw dogged that drive to like Michigan or Minnesota.
Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, that was something.
You fucking psychopath.
I don't understand. I'm very comfortable with my own thoughts.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with my own thoughts too, but after 12 hours, I'd get bored.
Actually, it's a little more like 16, but that's okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, between the out and the back, yeah.
So, hey, how's it going?
Good.
You haven't been here in a while?
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, Rob. I was talking to Dad.
Oh, all right. Hi.
Hi, Rob. No, it's cool. I mean, you're aware of all the subtext. I don't know how extensive this banter you want to make. The whole thing with building the house.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. We don't need a life story.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, in fact, I spent an hour on the phone with Carl today. So, Carl being the architect. So it is an ongoing thing, but we are close. All the paperwork's with the mortgage company. We're finalizing the numbers with the builder. The draftsman has everything they need to finalize the building plan, so we're getting there. All the permits have been applied for.
Cool.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I'll be only half an hour away.
So, hey, you were in the military, right?
A couple days.
Are you going to go to Iran and do some war crimes, or are they not calling you up?
So they're not calling me up, and not all war.
Well, it sure is a lot of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. I genuinely don't.
Oh man.
I will just say that especially my first deployment, where I was actively out in town doing stuff. I was very conscious about making sure that we had as light of a footprint with the local population as possible. For many reasons. So I was always very conscious of how we affected the people that actually had to, live there.
Right. But how do you square that with the fact that you couldn't help that woman catch her cow?
I was ready to butt stroke that cow. I did my best. Poor woman. If she hadn't hit the cow in the butt with the stick, it wouldn't have taken off over the railroad tracks. I don't know. That was all her.
Is there a picture of you on the standoff with that cow?
There is literally a picture of me in the standoff with the cow.
Send that to me. I want to
put
that up on the internet because that's fucking funny.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, because Chief is here as a special guest, he is going to have the honor of giving us our summary this week, which we will rudely and hilariously interrupt.
So is the banter over? Is that it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you need an exvitation from the banter segment?
We need a stinger.
No. There was like a huge Star Trek development in the last week since you did.
Oh, you know what? That is true. We haven't talked about that. So for those of you who don't know, everyone on the internet is an asshole, and so they managed to get Starfleet Academy canceled.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly what happened, but okay.
Oh, well, okay. So what really happened is the owner of Paramount is a conservative douche nozzle, and combined with all the assholes on the internet, managed to get Starfleet Academy canceled.
I mean,
it's all right, though.
I guess that's
a
way.
Rod Roddenberry is saying that, the Paramount executive crew, they have a great vision for Star Trek going future.
Roddenberry can suck my rod. Fuck him. I like how the fucking hero with the steel chair coming in was Will Shatner, like famously conservative Will Shatner.
I'm sorry, what? Hero with the steel chair.
Yeah, he's like a surprise, he's the surprise ringer on this internet discourse about Starfleet Academy.
Oh, I have not been paying attention to any of that.
Oh yeah, Will Shatner's you guys are fucking babies. Like, of course Star Trek is gonna be woke, you goddamn idiots. It's fucking Star Trek.
Oh, is that? See, I don't know any of that. All I know is I've watched Starfleet Academy, and I heard it was canceled, and oh, okay. When Star Trek comes, Star Trek goes.
I think it's, I don't know. Like, I was talking with one of my friends at work about it today. It's sad that we're living in an era now where, because we only get 10 episodes once every year and a half or so of a Star Trek show, there really isn't the kind of grace period that older era Trek got, especially in TNG. Seasons 1 and 2 of TNG were awful. It was
they were
bear. And I love it. It's probably my favorite series overall. But it took time to grow into it. Just like Deep Space Nine did, Voyager did. It's just not a lot of time to grow a cast of characters, especially in such a short season.
What's interesting is I mean, I watched all of TNG, and you're absolutely right, Rob. But the first season or two, it got its legs under it and kind of figured out the characters. It's rough.
Yeah.
But then with DS9 and Voyager, I watched a lot of DS9 and some of Voyager, and both those I kind of lost interest in when they got to I think what you guys consider to be the takeoff point.
Right, because you famously hate women and black people. So
that is absolutely incorrect.
Yeah, and I guess, and it's one of those things where Enterprise got 4 fucking seasons and that show sucked throughout. It never got good. It got tolerable in parts, but it was never good.
Well, hang on.
Okay. Maybe if Bakula hadn't been wearing shoes, it would have gotten canceled sooner.
Oh man, put your dogs away.
Well,
I didn't see the dogs again, so that's a good thing.
Just remember, Stanford, there's a very good chance that we might see Scott Bakula returning as Captain Archer.
That tells me that the tides have turned for Star Trek. If they're bringing that motherfucker back and they're canceling Starfleet, look, here's the thing. I know that Starfleet Academy was different, because I actually enjoyed watching it. Like, I'm just not a Star Trek watcher. I get bored. I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. It's fine. But I was actually really looking forward to seeing Starfleet Academy. And I did like Strange New Worlds, and I did like Discovery. But I wasn't necessarily like, are we gonna watch it? Like I wouldn't be like, hey Matthew, we're gonna watch it. It would be if he
Right.
told me. Like, so
Oh
there
God,
has to
I
be
don't tell
lots
her
of
what to
people
do.
who
Oh God.
there has to be lots of people out there who didn't really like Star Trek who probably really like this, and people are idiots for not embracing new watchers and telling new stories.
Like, honestly, though, this happens with every single new iteration of Star Trek. There are always people who complain about, like when TNG first came out, there was like a fan write-in campaign demanding that the original cast be returned. Like,
Oh God, they were ancient by then. They were like 100 years old.
Yeah, I
know,
think
but
DeForest
people-
Kelly was in the first episode of TNG, and
He was.
he's
Yep.
this
And he
doddering old man.
yeah,
He was.
He looked awful.
like it's crazy. Like it happens with every single Trek. People always complain, and then a decade on, they're finally remembered.
Well, and I guess I could very easily fall into that category. I mean, I've been watching Star Trek since I was, I don't know, since the early 70s when it was on syndicated reruns, and I've watched a lot of Trek, but not all of it. But I appreciated it was there, even if I didn't particularly care for that iteration.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really connect well with Starfleet Academy. It just didn't tell stories or have characters that really engaged me, with a couple of exceptions.
And that's totally fine. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like a beautiful thing about Star Trek. There's so many options.
Yeah, like
And-
you don't have your head so far up your ass that you think all Star Trek that's ever aired has to be targeted at you specifically.
Well, no, Starfleet Academy was not for me, and that's fine.
But and there's, anything that changes makes people uncomfortable, and I guess the Star Trek community was so uncomfortable that they were blasting it on the internet. So it's just wow.
Yeah, well, I have to say, for all that things get blasted on the internet, ultimately it's it's chasing dollars, right? The internet is just noise. It's money. So
Oh yeah.
complaints aside, not enough people were watching it, right?
Yeah.
Right, but like the there is definitely a level of, especially in the era of streaming, where the internet discourse affects how many people watch something.
That is that is true. Yeah,
So it may not be a direct thing, but it's certainly a cascaded.
it does have an influence. Yes.
So, anyways, yeah, I guess they already filmed season 2. They just got to do the post production stuff. So they are going to broadcast season 2. But yep, that's it for Starfleet Academy.
Yep.
So much cool merch.
Okay.
You notice all the jackets, the Lettermans.
Man, you can buy those.
Like-
Like the Starfleet Academy jackets and stuff, they're online. You can buy them, and they
They're
look
so
fucking amazing.
good.
I wish I would
Yeah.
wear
That
jackets.
is like literally my favorite thing about that show.
Yeah,
is
the
the
costumes
jackets.
were amazing.
Gotta get the drip.
I also thought the music was amazing. Like,
Music was really
The
good.
music was pretty well done.
no, and I'm not saying it was perfect. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Every
no.
time Caleb and his piece had a conversation, I'm like, this isn't how people talk. They haven't said a complete thought. Like, so don't get me
She's
wrong.
psychic, Mariah.
It's freakishly large.
He does have
arms.
very bulgy biceps, yeah.
I think his biceps are bigger than my thighs.
But again, like, that aside, like, okay, it's not for everyone. It's different. Matthew even wasn't happy because he wanted them to not be in space, and every time they took these kids into space, bad shit happened. So
Yeah,
why
they
keep
literally
doing it?
did, so far in
But
season
our
1,
s-
100%
Our
of the
solution
trips to
is bringing
space were
Scott
dangerous.
Bakula back.
So,
Really?
So
To-
it's
what?
to
it's not
be
100%.
fair, to be
But-
fair, A, that's not 100%. B,
That's gross.
the
is
show
what that
is a good idea, even though Scott Bakula is going to be in it.
That's gross.
Yeah. The other thing that I found out
Awesome.
just reading on future plans with Paramount, there are no new shows in production right now. As far as I
Right.
know, I don't even think the 5th season of Strange New Worlds is in production yet, which is a little concerning. The only concrete things that are definitely in development right now are films. one of which they announced was going to be written by the dude who plays Sam from Freaks and Geeks and another writer that he frequently does projects with. They mostly do comedies, so take that and do with it what you will. Like I'm a little worried that they're gonna try to do some live action like comedy Trek without Tawny Newsome, which worries me. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's nothing I want more than watching The Hangover, but on the Enterprise.
Yeah, like yeah.
I think that was literally the theme of about 3 episodes of Lower Decks.
Kinda, yeah. All right, well,
Which I am watching for the 3rd time, by the way.
Ironically, it is your fault, but this banter section has gone on for too goddamn long. So,
okay. I guess onto the episode, right?
yep.
All right. Well, so this week's episode was tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and we open with the rainbow swoosh and the classic Alexander Courage theme, which I absolutely love. I love the references back to TOS. That, of course, being my my foundation and Trek.
Right. You're old. We get it. Yep.
I am old. Yep, and gleefully so. So, and then there's a short recap. I don't know if you watched the recap, but it basically shows Lon getting shit for being a Noonien Singh. So, if you didn't know that was going to be a thing in this episode, well, you do now. And then, so here we are. Lon is working through the ship, talking about the various annoying things she has to do as the chief of security. 2 people arguing about something dumb, and then she has to tell Spock that his playing of his I can't remember what they call the instrument actually off the top of my head. Rob, do you remember what that instrument's called?
Yeah, that seems like something Rob would know.
No, I do not.
If it was a Star Wars instrument, he would know.
Probably.
He would, yes, I'm sure he would. But
listen,
anyway,
we can't all be jizz musicians.
Jizz whalers, yeah. Fucking George Lucas.
And then Spock being salty, which was awesome, frankly. Then she's talking to the chief engineer, who apparently has acquired over the many, many years of her life a large number of questionably procured antiquities.
I think
the engineer.
I think my favorite line out of her in this whole sequence was, "I've even got a bunker in case this no money socialist utopia thing turns out to be a fad."
And I literally had that written down as a note. I was dying.
That's fucking funny. Because she's what, like 3,000 or 4,000 years old? Like, she's really old.
Yeah.
She's really old.
Because she name drops Pythagoras later, so.
Yep.
She does, but you never know when she's telling the truth or
Fair
when she's
enough.
just kind of joking around.
At least she knows enough to keep her fucking dogs put away.
Exactly right. Unlike her buddy there. And then, so Lon, who's having a bad day, now goes and just basically beats the hell out of Mbenga. Who tries to do a little therapy with her.
Yeah, and then Mbenga does that Steven Seagal Aikido shit to her, and
yes, I use your energy against you. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And the thing that stood out to me in this particular scene is Lon's shoes, which are really not suited for martial arts, but okay.
Yeah, she's wearing like tennis shoes. Weirdly enough, I also noticed her shoes because I was like, man, she's got big feet.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to that later too.
Now that I think about it, like, why wouldn't you do this barefoot? Isn't that how most martial arts are done in spars?
But they were more like boxing, and boxers aren't barefoot.
Aren't they?
No, but even boxing, no, they're not. But right, but even so, they have karate shoes or martial arts shoes, and even boxers. They were shoes with like a very thin sole because you want to have a good connection to the pad.
They're basically dancing shoes, but men can't call them that, right?
Accurate. Yeah. Yep.
Let's go.
So Mbenga picks Lon up and suggests maybe she I don't know, has some help or gets some help or relaxes, and she basically leaves. She's like, nope, done talking to you, dude. And then we see her walking down the passageway, and this dude like pops out of the side of the corridor, obviously coming in from somewhere else, and falls down. And Lon runs up, and he's shot. And she
Yeah.
actually recognizes as a gunshot wound. She's
Which
like,
is
oh,
interesting.
it's a gunshot.
Although I will say, you know
Yeah,
what else it
that's what I
looks
thought.
like? From a 23rd century perspective, an incredibly non-lethal wound. Like he's just kind of shot in the gut. Like send him to the sick bay. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought, oh, he'll be all right. Nope,
he just
doesn't.
expires.
But before he like disincorporates, he mentions that the past needs some help, which reminded me of a line from a movie I can't quite pull out of my head. Or not Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi, but something along those lines. And then he gives her what looks like an old-timey TV remote control.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The old ones
And
that
then
are like
evaporates.
still wired to the TV.
Well, so they had these old ones. Here we go, going back to me being old again.
Geez.
Before they were,
I need a
now
jingle.
all remotes are. You do. But here's a fun fact from Chief.
Well, when you're old as shit and it's a fact you can't miss, it's an old timey fact with Chief. Wait, that doesn't rhyme at all.
Yeah, work on that one. So now remote controls are IR, but back like 40 years ago, they actually had this version of remote control that used tones. So they had little rods in these remotes, and you clicked it, and it would sound a tone like a tuning fork that the TV was listening for, and it would change the channel or turn the volume up or down. And you clicked it, clunk, clunk, clunk.
That sounds incredibly annoying.
Yeah, it does.
It beat the hell out of having your kid go do it.
Well, yeah, because if they didn't, you'd beat the hell out of the kid. Yeah, I remember, like the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're holding the flashlight for you. So anyway, after that guy disappears, Lon's holding the old-timey TV remote, and then now the ship is all of a sudden at red alert. So Lon runs to the bridge to see what's going on, and there is James Kirk sitting in the captain's chair, and he has no idea who she is.
Gasp!
Gasp. So then opening credits, and let me say, I love the opening credits for Strange New Worlds.
It's so good.
In fact, I love everything about Strange New Worlds.
Okay, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
I might.
Oh.
And then of course,
it's a very non-traditional wedding.
It's probably legal in France.
Strange New Worlds. And again, the reference to the old TOS music is just lovely.
Yeah.
And we're back, and all of a sudden here's Spock on the viewer, and Kirk, it turns out, is the captain of a ship in the United Earth Fleet, which, fun fact, I'll let you work on that, is actually a throwback to the first few episodes of TOS, where before they fleshed out the idea of the Federation, Shatner would say that the Enterprise was a United Earth ship.
Wait.
So it's kind of a...
Wait, I got it. When you're old and all you got is beef, it's an old-timey fact with Chief.
Beef?
Yeah, like...
Beef?
What's for dinner?
Like beef, like I got beef with a guy, like when you're complaining about shit.
Like I'm salty, I'm old and salty.
Perfect.
I mean,
okay, I got it. All right.
But all he said is how much he likes Strange New Worlds.
I know.
Listen, there's not a lot that rhymes with Chief. Okay, so it's beef or queef. So what do you want?
Yeah, I thought of that
I'll
too.
Take beef. So anyway, so Spock, as it turns out, is the captain of a ship, and he asks for help from Earth because Vulcan is in the middle of losing their war with the Romulans. And Kirk goes, they're beating our ass too. Sucks to be you. Sorry, my dude. And basically just like hangs up the phone.
So, I don't know. Dad, you might know the answer to this question. Well, why? Okay, like the Romulan Empire is huge, right? Like it's got a bunch of colonies and a bunch of territory and shit. How did the Vulcans ever survive against the Romulans? Because as far as I could tell, the Vulcans are like one planet.
So I don't know. That is, if I had to guess, I would say that the Romulans were busy doing what they were doing, and then they turned their attention to the Federation space. Yeah. Your schemes are merely ideas.
Oh, yeah, your schemes are barely ploys. Yeah,
barely ploys.
we do know that the Vulcans have other planets, though.
They have at least that one monastery planet. Yeah.
Yeah, on Pajem, and they have the double think world that they send all of the logic deniers to. Because that was like a penal colony,
Oh,
right? I don't
right,
think that was on Vulcan.
The thought crime was the thought
Do they
crime.
have a vaginal colony too?
Wait,
Oh.
the thought crime jail was its own planet? I thought that was on Vulcan.
I don't think so. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. Huh. Well, I guess like it always just seemed that Vulcan holds an oddly large amount of power for having like fairly low territorial stakes in the galaxy, you know?
Their tech is good though.
Their tech
Yeah,
is good.
but like it's not better than the Romulan tech. You can't even see the Romulan tech.
Mm.
And remember,
there's some truth in
as
that.
the Romulans say in Birth of the Federation, if knowledge is power, then to be unknown is to be unbeatable.
Oh, okay, that's a way.
I love that.
So,
fucking game.
I mean, we're just going to ignore the fact that Rob said penile because
That was said a lot in the last episode too. I don't like that word, and said that it's coming up again. So here we are.
Oh man. Oh, Dan, we should have you on more often.
All right, so Kirk hangs up on Spock, and now we're back with they're all looking at Lon, and Kirk and the bridge crew, who are pretty much people we recognize, clearly do not know who she is. So Lon says, "Hey, we need to talk." So they go into Kirk's ready room, and they figure out pretty quick that Lon is from a different timeline that she says needs to be restored.
No. Kirk says a far simpler explanation is that she's lost her mind, which is accurate.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. No, that would be far simpler.
Does he use the word hysterical?
He doesn't. Although he also doesn't admit for having someone who lost their mind, you're cosplaying very well because she's got like a whole uniform and
she does.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never heard of Starfleet. What is this Starfleet?
That bothers me because Starfleet is not a very difficult phrase. And I understand that you're United Earthfleet, but he can't be like Starfleet. Who would ever think of such a thing? He was a little too incredulous on that one.
Fair. But I mean, so here, and it kind of affects everything that at least, not everything, but it affects Kirk later. Or it gives some insight. But I equate this to the whole, Tomorrow's Enterprise, the whole thing where they were like at war, and they've obviously been at war for a while. So so he's really not in a position to believe
that's
stuff.
not yesterday's Enterprise. That's the one with Riker, right?
No. Yeah, where Riker's in command of the Enterprise E or whatever it was.
Well, it was the D, but with weird shit on it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Had a weird
it was the one where they go into a region of space and then there's just Enterprises showing up from all the different timelines. I don't remember the name of that fucking episode.
Rob doesn't?
Yeah, Rob, what the fuck, man?
Dude, I agree with Jeff from last week. It's really hard to remember episode names unless they're specifically involved in what happened there, like Shadows of Pajem.
Right. The only episode names I remember are the ones we've already done because I've had to type them out so many times.
And dear Lord, if it's from TOS, those are the most flowery, nonsensical titles that you will ever see.
Fair. Okay, so they figure out that again, Lana's from a different timeline and it needs to be restored. And she's like, "Look, I've got this TV remote thing. It's an old timey TV remote, and I'm going to go back and we need to go back in the past and fix this." And Kirk goes, "No, give me that!" And he grabs it.
I don't know why Kirk does this schoolyard snatch thing. What the fuck?
And of course, they push the button, and the next thing you know, they're in an alley near a dumpster.
And now we have to start one of the greatest tropes in all of television, which is the people in Star Trek have to go back in time to a world where Star Trek doesn't exist as a media franchise.
100% accurate. Because the first thing I thought was, well, they're walking around in Star Trek uniforms,
right?
Starfleet uniforms, so people are going to think there's a convention,
right?
But so, and the first thing that Kirk goes, "What have you done?"
Yeah, I guess
dude, you grabbed the remote.
I don't understand why Kirk is an idiot for the first 40% of this episode. He's just a complete dumbass until he starts playing chess.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. He is kind of well, and I have a theory about that. I actually want to talk about that.
Oh shit!
So it's a nice segue. We'll get there. Yeah. So anyway, they're in Canada, and and it's odd how familiar everyone in Star Trek is with 19th and 20th century Earth. Like La'an knows a lot about Canada. She actually says maple leaves, maple sugar, poutine. Like,
yeah,
she's not even from Earth.
Well, like just remember, this is where all of the last entertainment was made by the human race. It's where all of their most recent music and movies and TV shows come from.
Yeah, Rob's got a good point. Probably everyone in Star Trek is very familiar with like Toronto and Atlanta, because as we all know, in Star Trek, entertainment ended in 2026.
Fair. But and like I said, the familiarity they have with Earth, pre-World War III and all that silliness. So there was this book I read, and it may have been, I don't think it was Canticle for Leibowitz, but it was something where it may have been part of Ophiuchi Hotline, where they were basically hundreds of years into the future, and humanity had been separated from its early history somehow, or its 19th, 20th, previous centuries of history. So the people only had a very vague idea of what had happened on Earth. So, for instance, they thought Billy the Kid and Elvis Presley were contemporaries.
Oh, that's off of you.
Okay, that was off of Yuki. So, and it occurs to me that, so all this stuff happened, a lot of records were destroyed, but yet they know everything there is to know about Canada. Well, Kirk goes, oh, it's New York.
Well, and that actually...
Like, no, dumbass, it's Canada.
Yeah, and actually it makes sense because he had never been to Earth, so...
No, he's never been to... He's from space. He says that several times.
I'm from space.
Which is okay,
anyway,
I can see how if you have spotty records of Earth, you could see an intersection with a bunch of TVs and be like, oh my god, it must be New York City, because that's what Times Square famously.
Exactly right.
So when I was a kid, I really liked dinosaurs, a lot, right?
Dinosaur.
I ate up every bit of media I could find about dinosaurs and archaeology, or paleontology and all that stuff. And I remember when my mom started to get concerned about it, she brought home the video from the church library about dinosaurs and how they got on the ark. That's what this conversation reminds me of. It's like dinosaurs were contemporary with Noah.
Last week you were really into tornadoes and you were reading everything you could on tornadoes.
Yeah, and then she got worried about that and she had to go find a book about how tornadoes were on the ark.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or the book about a flood, if he's worried about weather events. So you're reading this one.
Boy, if you're worried about a catastrophe, let me tell you about God and his, what is the rainbow called? His promise or some shit?
Yeah.
It's a fancy word for promise. I don't remember.
Covenant.
That's it. Covenant.
So, they decide they need to blend in. So they go into, I guess, a gap or something. And Kirk can't work a revolving door. And
this is where I wrote the note. Why is Kirk an idiot?
Yeah, exactly. He goes, I'm from space, which is why I guess he's an idiot. So then they come out wearing the exact same outfit, and Kirk decides it looks better on La'an, so he goes in and changes. And then, interestingly, La'an also understands how money works. And, oh, by the way, how store security tags work.
The money thing I could buy, because there are, money is a thing that does exist, and she does go to other planets, and she was on a colony for a while. So, probably she's more familiar with currency than anyone who's, growing up and staying on Earth. But, she definitely knew exactly how, store securities worked.
Yeah.
And my note here is, this is the worst plan ever. And then my next note is, okay, well, it worked. So fuck me, I guess.
Of course, it worked. It's perfect. And so they get out, and La'an is now wearing boots with 3-inch soles. They are super thick.
Well, she is the shortest actor on the show.
She is short, but those boots were very distracting, at least to me.
Yeah, well, I'm also attracted to women in large boots.
Yeah, I wasn't distracted in that way. But that's okay. That's fair.
How dare she be distracting?
Her feet were distracting.
I mean, it's Strange New Worlds. Everyone is objectively the hottest person that's ever existed.
That is correct, actually.
Like even Porn Stash could get
and I'm
it.
here for it. We're going to talk about him later.
Yeah, we
too.
are.
So, so they're walking around trying to figure out what they're going to do because Lon's like, "Hey, we need money," and Kirk's like, "Yeah, I don't know where we're going to get it." And then he says, "Hey," so he hustles chess in the park and makes a few dollars.
Makes a nebulous, indeterminate amount of money, which I have questions about later.
A plot required amount of money.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about that later as well. In fact, and while he does this, the song "People Get Ready" by the Impressions it's a 1965 song.
Jesus
and the group's best
Christ, you are old.
That one I did not know. I actually looked that up because I was like, "Oh, that's a catchy tune. I wonder what that is." But anyway, so they get some money and they're walking back and they're like hungry. So Kirk, who 2 scenes ago didn't know how to work a revolving door because he's from space, all of a sudden knows everything there's know on hot dogs. And also, what's with the weird-ass wheat buns on them hot dogs?
Okay, so it's funny because my note is, I bet Toronto street hot dogs aren't even good. Because it's fucking Toronto. Like, they're not known for hot dogs.
Exactly.
But also, like,
no, they're Canucks.
It's one of those things where, like, I can understand Kirk knowing what a hot dog was, but you need to drop a line of dialogue. You need to be like, "Oh my God, a hot dog. I had a buddy in such and such that lived on these things."
No. It's when I was really little, I was really into hot dogs, and my mom got me a book.
You got me a book.
This is going to become a thing.
So now you start to realize during this whole hot dog scene that La'an is very mission focused, right? She is just she wants to figure this shit out. Meanwhile, and this goes back to my earlier statement about Kirk having been at war for a while.
Did we mention what the mission is?
Well, no, they're trying to figure out where the glitch is in the timeline at this point. Of course, La'an's mission is to stop it, fix it. Yeah. Kirk doesn't know what his mission is yet, but he is chilling. He is just having a great time. So, and I got the impression that like he's a captain in a war fleet or during a time of war with the Romulans, and he doesn't get much of a chance to just go chill out in Toronto.
Right.
And then they talk about sunsets where, she's like, "Don't you have sunsets where you're from?" And he goes, "No, mostly just clouds of ash and underground habitats."
Okay, but
Jesus.
But like, he's been to other planets, right?
Well, yeah, but he was talking about Earth.
Oh, okay.
I mean, honestly, like, it sounds like the only other planets that humans frequent are other planets in the solar system. Because, like, they talk about how
they don't
they're not friends with anybody. Like, they're like, we don't need any help in the fight with the Romulans. We're doing just fine on our own.
Yeah, we went full American. Yeehaw! Pew, pew, pew! Like, yeah.
And also, Lon seems very suspicious of hot dogs.
I mean, they're hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, like, if I had never seen a hot dog, no, I don't know. I can't make, like, I don't know, because I've seen hot dogs since I was a child. But, like, I feel like I would be like, okay, I don't know. It's weird to be suspicious of hot dogs when you literally visit other cultures on a daily basis that are wildly alien.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah, she was drinking blood wine 2 weeks ago. Like, I think she's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were literally this morning talking to a woman who's 4,000 years old. You can't handle a hot dog?
Right. So the Kirk goes gets another hot dog because he is all about the dogs. But anyway, so then next scene they're at a hotel. This is like the biggest hotel room I've ever seen.
I was like, this hotel is super fucking nice for some hustling chess money.
Exactly right. How much money did he win?
And I was like, Jesus, look at that balcony. This is like a $2,000 a night hotel room. Like, their balcony is like, it's got to be 15 feet wide. It's huge.
It's huge.
They don't use dollars in Canada.
Oh, it's Canadian money. Oh, everything's fake up there.
Oh, it's like Monopoly money. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and Lon, like, can't sleep, so
she goes and creepily watches Kirk sleep, like you do.
Exactly. She watches Kirk sleep. Of course, he's not sleeping well either. And I'm not sure what they're trying to get across with this little interaction.
Hey, I got a question.
That they love each other.
Romance.
Well, sure. Yeah, they're hot people on a TV show. They're going to fall in love. But, like, I have a question. We had enough money for this Giga Suite. We couldn't buy a room with 2 beds?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they probably got a discount because it only had the 1 bed.
But,
Man, that room is huge.
yeah, it's like bigger than my
anyway.
house. Like, it's a giganormous room.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've had houses that were smaller than that. So it's the next day, and we open up with a shot of like this really gnarly looking bridge, super cool bridge. And Lon's trying to figure out the mission, and Kirk wants to have a drink. I like Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
He's all about raiding the minibar. And then they're talking about it, and Kirk says, "Hey, look, if we fix this, you get to go back to where you're from, but like me, everybody I know, everything that has ever happened for me goes away. So I'm not sure this is a good deal for me."
Which,
and
fair point.
Yeah.
Right. And they get into a discussion of various pluses and minuses of the various timelines, and Lon makes a point. My Earth still has sunsets.
Yeah, and she
And then
also
she points out that
she mentioned Sam.
Go ahead. Well, yes, that's my next note. And she points out that the war with Romulus is not going well. And then Kirk says, "Well, I don't even know if something about existing in his timeline, her timeline." She goes, "Oh yeah, I haven't met you, but your brother Sam talks about you all the time." And
she says your brother talks about you all the time, and he goes, "Sam's alive." And my note is, we call him Porn Stash, but yes, he's alive.
And I have the same note actually, Porn Stash Kirk. And Kirk is actually very taken aback to find out that Sam is alive in Lon's timeline, because obviously he is not in Kirk's. Fun fact.
I don't sing the song every time. You would know that if you were a real
That's
fan.
Fine. I'm a real fan of this series. Sam actually dies in TOS, but only by reference. You don't see him dead on camera.
No, you do. No, that's not true. You do see him dead on camera because he is laying there. He is played by William Shatner.
Yep.
Right, laying there.
Yeah.
But yeah, last episode of the first season of TOS. So yep.
Project Annihilate or whatever the fuck. Operation Annihilate.
Operation Annihilate.
Stupid ass title.
Your stupid ass title.
Remember that title?
I remember all the TOS titles.
Oh, I hope so.
I do. And then there's a big explosion, and the cool ass bridge blows up. And then we go to the next scene, and we see the bridge, and it is blowed up. And Lon and Kirk, turns out they both remember that bridge explosion. So it happened in both their timelines. So they realize that the change is after the explosion. And they go up to the bridge, see what's going on, and they see some wreckage that looks weird, and ask a nearby photographer to see some pictures that she took with a telephoto lens. And they go, "Oh, the charring on that fragment of the bridge is damage from an advanced weapon." And these two dudes throw the chunk into the van, and they decide to follow the van. At which point, Kirk walks up to some poor dude, Vulcan neck pinches his ass, and then
steals his Dodge Charger.
Steals his Dodge Charger, but first he stops to make the point that he was in prison with a Vulcan cellmate and can make plamic soup in the toilet.
Yeah, toilet plamic soup was a pretty funny joke, actually.
That was a pretty funny joke. And then
yes, this is the first product placement of, not the last, but the first.
Soup? Oh, the Dodge Charger.
Yes, the glamour shots of the Dodge Charger.
Yes, which Kirk very quickly figures out how to drive amazingly well.
I was like, driving's not really intuitive. I don't buy that he could just figure it out, and then he kind of fucks it up for a second, and then later he's like Ronin level of fucking driving. Like he's a fucking expert.
Right. And if it was TOS Kirk or Kelvin Kirk, I could buy it. But this Kirk is from space.
That's the other thing too, is Kelvin Kirk, we see him as a child driving that car. Okay, fine. Right. But this one has literally never been to Earth before. Like
He didn't know how to work a revolving door.
Yeah, he couldn't work a revolving door. Was able to figure out if I asked Liam to tell me the steps to starting and driving a car, I don't think he could do it. And he's seen me drive a car literally every day of his life almost.
Yes. Yes.
But Liam can work a revolving door.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that. He knows his way around a hot dog, too.
Yeah, he does. That motherfucker loves hot dogs.
So, who doesn't, actually? I love a dirty water hot dog.
Dirty water hot dog.
They're following dirty water hot dog. And they're following this van, and they're actually talking, and Lon figures out at this point that Kirk has no idea who Khan Noonien Singh is. Does not recognize her name, knows nothing about her. So now we go back to why we had that little recap at the very front of it, just to remind us that her name is like mud. Let's not kid ourselves, Maverick. Your family name ain't exactly the best in the Navy.
Yeah, Top Gun. We get it. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then of course they get separated from the van, and suddenly Kirk is baby driver. And he's like charging through public squares and up alleys, and
he does like a handbrake turn at one point. Like, it's fucking insane.
It's amazing. Yeah. And now these guys in the van can't help but see him, so I don't know what he's accomplishing here, but sure enough.
So I have a question. Who were these guys in the van? Did that ever get answered?
Not really, no.
Because what?
Yeah, that never really got answered. Yeah, that's kind of a hole. And then he gets pulled over, and they're arresting him, and Lon's wearing those crazy boots. And then that reporter shows up again, and basically punks the cops down by blathering on a completely unconvincing way that the cops are going to be infamous and, blah, blah, blah. And the cops are just like, because they're Canadian, I guess. Okay, let them go.
Well, and Kirk's a white guy.
And Kirk's white. Yep. And the reporter actually, turns out, is also following the van because she thinks aliens are keeping humanity from progressing through various interferences with human progress, like blowing up this bridge.
My note here is, oh, cool, she's kooky.
Yeah, and then Kirk totally chucks Lon under the alien abduction bus, which was kind of hilarious.
That was funny.
Well, it's also kind of messed up because out of all of the members of the crew of this Enterprise, she actually was abducted by aliens, and it was a huge trauma for her.
To be fair, Kirk didn't know that, though.
He did not know that, to be fair, yeah.
Like, he probably doesn't even know about the Gorn. They're just not out in space that much.
Right.
Yeah, probably not. And then they're walking with the reporter, and she's telling them about all the places. Oh, they actually go get something to eat. And she's telling about all these examples of times and instances where someone has interfered with human progress. And then they go get some poutine. Kirk loves poutine.
It sounds gross.
Lon doesn't trust the reporter because she's crazy. Poutine is amazing, actually. Kirk is correct.
Hey, what'd you say, Matthew?
I said it sounds gross.
Oh no, it's so good.
No, it's great.
Is it? It's like French fry based, right?
Oh, right.
French fries,
but it's covered in gravy and cheese curds.
Cheese curd. Yep.
But
French fries,
no,
gravy,
actually, Matthew won't like it. More for me. That's okay.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
The only French fries I really liked were when they were covered with so much cheese sauce that they were more a medium than an actual food. So there's a chance I like it. I like gravy. Obviously, you've seen me.
And cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese is all right. I'm not quite as obsessed with cheese as a lot of people, but it's good.
All right. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
God damn. Wait till you hear about how much I don't really care about bacon.
I can.
I
bacon,
actually don't care for
leave.
bacon that much either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My breakfast meat of choice is pork roll.
No. Well, yeah, because you're from fucking New Jersey. No, it's scrapple, baby. Come on.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
I just had your
let's have some scrapple.
Fucking love Scrapple, so good.
Jow bacon, baby.
You southern bitch.
Best bacon I ever had is jowl bacon.
What does jowl mean?
That's
Jowl.
Jowl.
Pig's
Okay.
cheeks.
Jowl.
Yeah.
That's not bacon, though. That's just cheek.
If you fry it up, it tastes like bacon. It's real good.
Anything's bacon if you cut it thin enough and fry it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they're looking. The reporter, Lon doesn't trust the reporter because she thinks she's crazy, and then the reporter starts showing them some pics, and one of which is a Romulan TOS style Romulan bird of prey, and which Kirk is like, "Oh, I recognize that." So they know that there is some truth to what she's saying. So Kirk and Lon kind of separate from the reporter. The reporter's just like, "Okay, well, see ya." And
thanks for listening, because my life is really sad.
I'm very sad, which, as it turns out, is correct. And Kirk tells Lon that he remembers that Toronto was wiped out by a cold fusion reactor explosion in a few days, which was a Romulan first strike. And this did not happen in Lon's timeline. And also, the reporter mentioned that the lab where they took that thing has a cold fusion reactor. So they decide they need to find this cold fusion reactor, and if they only had a tricorder or an engineer who could make one, since they don't actually have one. But it turns out that Lon might know someone. So somehow they get to Vermont.
Yeah, my note here is
anything.
They're going to drive to Vermont real quick, which, like, I mean, I don't know, Toronto's not that far away. I guess it's going to be a few hours.
It isn't. It's not the distance. Yeah, it's the fact that they said, well, we had to bribe a border guard. I'm like, that's just not going to happen, but okay.
No. You give them
how
enough
much money
poutine.
did you make playing chess?
Poutine.
Enough back bacon. So they find Pelia in her antique shop, which is actually a cache of stolen items, many of which were on the Enterprise in that earlier scene. And they explain to Pelia that they're from the future and they need an engineer, but turns out Pelia is not an engineer, at least not yet.
This is where we get the random DuckDuckGo plug.
Right.
Oh, that's what. Yes, you're right. I did catch that.
Yeah, it felt like
I was just like, why did he?
Yeah, I know I'm being cynical. It's gross because this is the only time Star Trek gets to do product placement, so they had to fucking hammer it in.
Well, so when he first said it, I thought, is he just saying that in order to kind of set the year, right? But no, now that it was still awkward, but now that you mention it, yeah, no, it's obviously a product placement.
Yeah, like
very awkward.
If they were just trying to set the year, they say something like Google, but instead they go with DuckDuckGo, the famed privacy browser that sold everybody's information.
Perfect. So Pelia gives them a watch with a tritium dial, which will glow when it is close to a cold fusion reactor.
Yeah.
And then somehow they get back to Canada.
Well, and it's funny because it's funny because they do all this. I hate it when shows do science and then they get it wrong. They do all this talk about the tritium in divers' watches, but they're like, yeah, but we have to expose it to the air so that it can pick up the because the phosphorus is going to react to the tritium, and the tritium in the watch is already long since expired, but the phosphorus will react to active tritium out in the world, so we have to open it to the air, so we have to take the face of the watch off. Dad, you've made watches and tritium watches.
That's correct.
Why won't that work?
That's correct. The tritium's inside with the phosphorus.
Right. It's a self-contained tube. Because they're right. Well, it's exposed to the tritium and that's how it works. So therefore the little tritium tubes are vacuum sealed. Because I don't know if y'all remember the whole radium girls thing. They don't just paint radiation on shit anymore.
No. And tritium is actually a very, very low.
Yes. Very mild radiation.
Very, very mildly radioactive. Yeah. But anyway, so okay, this is how they're going to do it. That's cool. I can live with that. I know that would not work in reality, but you know what? This isn't reality. It's Star Trek. I'm just glad they didn't reverse the polarity on some shit.
I do like how Pelia said engineer. I haven't even taken a math class since Pythagoras made that crap up. Good joke. Good joke.
That was good.
That was a good one. Yep. That was a good product placement there. So they're walking around the city looking for tritium, and Kirk says, your timeline actually does sound better than mine. And Lon says, why don't you come back to my timeline? We've got this box that will protect you, and you can come back with me after we fix this. She says, look, I've kind of been lonely my entire life because because of the fact that my ancestor was this like horrible person, and the fact that you don't know that means that there's no built-in bias, and so you don't have an idea of what I'm like or what my ancestors have done, and I'm not. And she obviously does not feel burdened by wondering if he knows or if he's thinking about that all the time.
Right. Sure. Her life of struggle that landed her as the chief security officer of the flagship of the Federation.
Again, abducted by the Gorn.
Yeah, after
Jesus
a rough
Christ.
start to life. Yeah, exactly. So I was never a fan of her being a Noonien Singh in the first place because I think it's dumb.
I was not either.
But like
I do as well.
Everything about her makes all of this like completely nonsensical. She is she is literally disagree. In the top 3 or 4% of successful military careers in her universe. And you're going to talk about all the oppression you've dealt with because your name was Noonien Singh? Shut the fuck up.
She didn't talk about oppression so much as loneliness. Her thing was specifically about loneliness, right?
Yeah, well, maybe if she wasn't a standoffish bitch, she wouldn't be so fucking lonely. Like,
yeah, maybe.
She's all, and like, she doesn't even talk about the fact that she's British. Those people suck.
All those people do suck. And then they talk about the Scarlet Letter because, of course, everyone in Starfleet knows like early colonial American literature.
Yeah, Mark Twain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's some smooching,
and then they kiss,
and then
they do a little kiss, and then they do it again.
Yep, and then they see the watches glowing, so they're very close to the lab. So they go into the building, and here's the security door, and Lon notices that it is the Noonien Singh Institute, and so then she decides to try the scanner for the security door, and it opens because it's keyed to her DNA.
Kirk asks like 6 questions in a row, and I'm like, Jesus, Kirk, one question, man. Like, wait for her to answer to any of them. And also, that's not how hand scanners work.
Shh.
Like, what the fuck?
That's how tritium watches work either.
Yeah, I know. But like, tritium watches, at least not everyone has like any kind of relation to. But like, our fucking phones are reading our fingerprints anymore. Everyone knows how hand scanners work.
This isn't a hand scanner, it's a genome scanner.
Then why does it need her fucking palm?
Scanner. Well, I don't know. She could just spit on it, but that'd be gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shut him up.
Okay. It's nice to know that whatever gene... Wait a minute, hold on a second. I have another question. Is she related to Khan? She is, right? Like, that's the whole point? That's why she doesn't exist? Is because, like, Khan was killed or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. She is one of his descendants.
But Khan isn't related to these people, is he? So he can open the scanners too? Then why is he in a locked room?
Because he's one of the subjects of the experiment. We're gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the the name on the building is Noonien Singh. So like this is a Noonien Singh family corporation,
right.
Where
and
they're
Khan
just turning
himself,
their kids into.
Right, but Khan himself just happens to be related to those actual people because there's a lot of augments and they're not all like Noonien Singhs. It's just him.
No, but but this one.
Well, I mean, good on the Noonien Singhs for putting their own skin in the game, at least.
Well, yeah, skin. So anyway, the reporter shows up, and it turns out that she is a Romulan spy. And she has a gun, so that's fun. And then she monologues a bit about meeting Kirk and how the Romulans have been slowing human progress.
She is quintessential Romulan in 2 different ways. 1, the monologue. 2, when Kirk's like, "You're not going to shoot me," she fucking shoots him, like without even.
She shoots him, right? Yeah. And then Kirk dies, which is pretty terrible, actually.
Dead as hell. Fuck him.
Well, I mean, I found it to be I liked the character.
Sure.
I like Kirk.
Yeah.
This version of Kirk, and yeah, I was just like, oh man, they killed Kirk. It was a moment for me.
Fortunately, the security door had a convenient like wait for the drama to resolve setting, so it didn't lock.
It did.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. And then the Romulan continues to be Romulan by gloating about killing James C. Kirk. And then Lon attacks her, but the Romulan just basically chokes a bitch.
Yeah, because Romulans are stronger than humans. Which, like, thank you. Although
strong.
later they end up fighting and they're basically equal again. But, like, it was nice that in one fight, the Romulan was actually a Romulan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go in the door and start walking through these corridors. It looks like a high school basement. And she just basically starts, the Romulan starts capping people. Take a turn towards the genetics wing, heavy plot, like kind of a precursor there, and pull up in front of the door with a name tag that says Khan. Dun, dun, dun. And then Lon's like, what the fuck? And the Romulan goes, well, we have these simulations, these computers, and they say, well, we could blow up the reactor, but hey, let's use a scalpel instead of a hammer. The simulations also say that killing this kid will keep you guys from forming the Federation, so we get to do what we want in the future. And she's like, and oh, by the way, I've been here for 30 goddamn years.
Yeah, so she specifically says 1992. Is that a reference to a time travel episode from like DS9 or TNG?
Oh no.
Not that I'm aware of. But that's a good question.
Because like, had she said 96, then I would immediately be like, oh yeah, that's that Voyager episode. But like, I was trying to remember, I know DS9 went back in time to go, but to the whatever riots, but that was in like the early 2000s. Bell riot.
Yeah, the Bell riots.
Oof, god damn, that doesn't feel good.
Bell riot.
That was in the 20. I think that was in the 2020s because I think
it was like 2 years ago. Like yeah.
So at this point, the Romulan actually tries to talk La'an, letting her kill Khan.
Which like
she's like, this guy sucks. Come on, let me kill him.
There is a level of, I'm not sure what moral the episode was trying to teach us here, because it kind of sounded like they were like, well, the world's better off because Hitler existed. Like, I'm not sure that's the lesson.
To Hitler, the United Nations was formed.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly kind of what it felt like. And like, that is already my primary issue with the Prime Directive, because it's fucking stupid, but like, that doesn't.
If only we had a rule that told us that we. But Lon isn't buying any of this, and they start fighting, and the Romulan is still strong, but Lon gets the gun and ventilates her, and then the Romulan
fortunately for the timeline, the Romulan evaporates like a fucking vampire.
Yeah, no, she basically, she snaps like the MCU. And then the light on the old-timey TV remote goes from red to green, and everything's cool. So Lon, who can't help it, goes in to talk to Khan.
Goes into this child's room and puts a loaded handgun on his desk.
On his desk, and walks away. I noticed she puts the gun down, and Catherine and I were watching this, and I go, she's going to leave that gun there. And Catherine's like, yes, she's not going to take that gun. Nope. And she walks out. Okay, kid's got a gun now.
That's what started him on his path to evil, was that she left this gun here.
That was his world-conquering gun.
Mind you, too, a gun that is currently the murder weapon to a man who did not evaporate. He is upstairs, and we know this because there's a piece of dialogue where a guy goes, we have a man down here, a man down. Like, Kirk is dead upstairs from that gun that is now in this 10-year-old's room.
She also shot like 6 people getting there.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you're correct. But Lon, not caring at all about leaving a loaded gun in Khan's room, pushes the button on her old-timey TV remote, and she is back on the Enterprise.
She does talk to Khan for a few minutes, but that conversation is mostly stupid.
Exactly. She didn't say anything interesting. I was really waiting for something to happen.
And then she couldn't even like pop around the corner before doing her magical teleportation. She just does it right in front of Khan's fucking face. Like,
like
historically the smartest man that's ever lived. And she's like, I'm just going to teleport right in front of him. I'm sure he won't think this is weird.
He won't figure this out at all.
I'm starting to think La'an caused World War III.
I mean, she didn't stop it.
Yeah. No, she did not. So effectively she did. And then, of course, she's back on her own enterprise, and so everything's cool. And then she goes back to her room, and there's an agent from the Department for Temporal Investigations.
This whole scene was completely fucking unnecessary.
It was. She thanks La'an for her service, takes the old-timey TV remote, and tells her to shut her fucking pie hole. Then she blips out.
It actually makes the episode substantially worse that this scene was here. Like, have the remote evaporate when she gets back to the Enterprise or whatever, fine. But
or deactivate or something,
right.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need the show to tell me to my face that La'an's not allowed to talk about what she experienced. You show me that when she calls Kirk and he doesn't know who she is and she has a meltdown. Like a breakdown, I guess is a better word. That was a great scene. That's a great scene.
It was.
That scene tells us everything that this temporal lady told us. But like, thousands of times better.
This was a throwback to Daniels.
I know it was, but like, A, I don't need that. And B, trust the fucking audience. You don't need to tell us that she's not allowed to tell anyone about the time travel. That's been a trope since Back to the Future. Like, we know how this works.
Well, like, this has been like one of our complaints about the Kurtzman era of Star Trek in general, is that the writers don't trust the audience, right?
Right. Well, and Braga too. Braga didn't trust the audience whatsoever, or at least in Enterprise. I guess he trusted a little bit better earlier.
I don't think he had as much creative input.
But yeah, no, Discovery doesn't trust shit about the audience, yeah.
So yeah, in the end, La'an calls Kirk, makes up a story about me checking something for Sam's file.
Actually,
and
I will say, I think the temporal department should do like a cute fruit basket instead of like a whole person showing up. Just like a little thank you card and like a little box. Just like, please put our equipment here and it'll just vanish or whatever. And like, yeah, some fruit and a nice thank you. Like the 32nd century temporal department thanks you.
Oh, so I'm sorry, Chief. The Daniels was the temporal like police agent that was assigned to Archer in Enterprise.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Weirdly, one of the few people on that show who could actually act.
And Kirk, I kind of got the feeling like Kirk knew something was weird about this phone call. Like there was more going on than she was saying.
Well, yeah, because it was a weird fucking call.
Well, it was. But he says, "Hey, next we're on Starbase together. Let's get a drink." And then they hang up, and La'an is just completely brokenhearted, and she's in tears.
Yeah, because she finally gets close to a person. He dies. Then she's like, well, but I've got him. But he doesn't. This is not the same person. Like, absolutely. Valid, like, emotional sequence. Great. Yeah. Completely undermined by the lady in the scene before.
True. So yeah, there it is. And overall, I thought it was a good episode. And I admit I'm a complete like idiot for Strange New Worlds. I love this show.
Fortunately, you have the same initial as Chris does because you're Chief. So I'm going to put your score in for his. But on a scale of 1 to 5, where 0 is threshold, what would you give it?
I would give this a 4. It had a good flow. There was not a lot of gaps in it. It wasn't silly. And the things I thought the plot devices and the whole thing with putting Pelia in at the beginning and then bringing her in later on. And then at the end, you see her on the bridge. She's looking at La'an and she kind of knows. She's like, oh, okay, that just happened for her. I thought it was pretty well put together. It was well paced. And I definitely got the emotional impact from both from their relationship and from La'an's reaction at the end.
I think instead of the sequence with the lady from the future, I would have liked Pelia. Because like I agree with her like kind of knowing look. I think they could have done a fun line there where like La'an's like, I think we can,
like Toronto or Vermont,
or like no, well, La'an's like, I think we can let her get away with it just this one time. We can overlook it this one time or whatever. And Pelia will go, Pelias say something like, that, good, now you don't owe me for the watch, or just something of that nature.
Yeah, no, that would have been clever. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yes, I will give it a solid 4.
I like I think everybody knows at this point I don't like time travel, but as far as time travel episodes go, I think this was like one of the best in Star Trek. I I did not enjoy the egregious product placement. The stuff with the car was kind of silly, but like I understand. Like
There was a Mercedes product placement I forgot to call out too. Like as they pull up,
oh, was there?
I think as someone
Yes, yeah, I remember the
pulls
Mercedes.
up to the facility in the last like couple sequences, there's like this camera shot of the car pulling up, and it logo focuses on that Mercedes.
Yeah, that's funny. So anyway, I do agree. I think that Kirk was kind of goofy at the beginning, but I feel like he got better as the episode went on. Two things really stood out for me in this episode, though. One, the music was fantastic. I don't know who scored this episode, but they did a really good job. And two, Christina Chong acted her ass off through this whole episode. And
No, her ass was still there throughout the entire episode. I saw.
I was watching. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, I also gave this one a 4.
Oh, a 4.
Yeah.
I was having more trouble with the episode than you two were. I think having talked about it, and like I do agree, the pacing is good. I think the overall narrative is tight enough. I find bits of it kind of silly, but I don't think I can go above a 3 because like I don't like time travel stuff. I find the sightseeing of we have to like do things from previous shows to be annoying. So like Khan did not need to be in this fucking episode. Like we never needed to see this child. Never mind the fact that a loaded handgun was left with him. But like it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I do like parts of it. That's why I didn't go lower, but I'm going to stay at a 3. IMDb gave it a 4. So yeah, there you go. You two are just as good as IMDb.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Well, then we will be right back after a short break with a deep dive.
Hey, welcome back. This is what is this podcast again?
Captain's Log Supplemental. We don't tell people in the middle. They've already been listening to an hour of it.
Well, they may have forgotten by now. I mean, it was have they actually listened to it?
Like, why have we been listening to these people just talk about some couple of tourists in Toronto all day? Like, what the fuck?
So for my deep dive, I thought of a couple different things, and what I ended up going with is times within Star Trek that James Kirk went back in time.
Oh, fun!
So we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about the various times we've seen James Kirk go back in time, when it happened, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool. So right off, the first time James Kirk went back in time, at least as far as we know, and keeping in mind, who knows what's going to happen in year 1, right? And with the proviso that this James Kirk did not survive the timeline, so he doesn't count, was the season 1, episode 4, The Naked Time. Now, and obviously there's spoilers if you haven't seen TOS, but if you haven't, then you're wrong. But the Enterprise is investigating a planet that is decaying, and they are Taoseti is the name of the planet. I'm only doing all this from memory. That's how awesome I am. And they go down because they lost contact with science, with a science installation. And they go down there and find out everyone is dead through various weird means. And while they're down there, someone contracts a virus, and this virus causes people to lose their inhibitions and act like they are and be erratic and unreasonable. And then during the ensuing silliness, like Sulu runs amok with a sword, Riley takes over engineering and serenades the crew. Even Spock ends up like in tears. But during all this, the ship ends up falling into a decaying orbit as this planet Tau Ceti basically breaks apart. And this is because Riley, taking over the engineering, has actually shut down the main engines. So what they end up doing is risking implosion by activating the warp drives from a cold start, and going immediately into warp. It works. Although what ends up happening is that due to the violence of this action, they actually get flung back in time by a couple of days.
Why?
Probably the same way all starship time travel happens, a gravity whip, right? They're literally falling down to the gravity well of this decaying planet, and so when they bounce out, when they pop out, it's a gravity whip.
I don't think that would work.
It might not.
Wait, did it work? Did it work in the episode?
Yeah, they just ended up going back in time by a couple of days, and then they were just like, we're back in time. So then they basically leave off. That's the last scene in that episode. But the implication being that they're just going to chill for the next couple of days till they get caught up.
Like, good thing we got liquor.
You know what this makes me realize? So, we went and saw Project Hail Mary with Liam over the weekend.
I've not seen that yet.
I just finished the book today.
Oh, it's good shit. The movie's good.
It's fantastic.
Liam's excited to go see the movie with me because he wants to see it again.
Oh yeah, it was a great movie.
Cool.
So the main part of that whole story takes part in Tau Ceti, like in the Tau Ceti system.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did.
Okay.
Rocky, the little friend that shows up.
Yeah, Rocky.
He's from Eridani 40, which is theoretically where Vulcan should be. So,
what? Really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's very funny that like they have a couple of Star Trek tie-ins. Like I knew about the Eridani 40, I did not realize that they also had Phil Tau Ceti from another like another episode of Star Trek.
I believe that is the case. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
having seen what Andy Weir looks like, I'm not surprised.
No, not at all.
Oh no, he's a huge nerd. So fun fact, so George Takei Sulu in this episode like imagines himself to be D'Artagnan and ends up running around the ship menacing people with a sword.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, what they did not realize at the time was that George Takei also enjoyed running around menacing people with a sword, and my understanding is he spent a large portion of the week on set doing just that. So yeah.
Amazing.
Actually, and another fun fact, Kevin Riley has a very close connection to Kirk, which you find out in a later episode. Later episode.
That fact wasn't.
So
as
the
fun.
next, no, it's not as fun. I don't want to give away that episode, although it's a really good episode actually. TOS had so many really good episodes. Next time Kirk is back in time is the episode Tomorrow's Yesterday, season 1, episode 19. So the Enterprise at Warp encounters a black star, quote unquote black star, that's what they call it, and the slingshot throws the Enterprise into 1960s, and they end up in Earth orbit. They kind of fall into the gravity well, and they get detected by the Air Force, which sends up an interceptor. And in the process of trying to get out, they accidentally destroy the interceptor with their tractor beams, so they end up beaming the pilot on board the Enterprise. So the pilot is like, oh my God, it's the future. And they're like, yep, it's the future. Welcome to the future. We're going to get back to the future, and you're going to come with us because you know all about us. And then they realize that this guy may not be famous, but his son is
what the fuck?
Yeah, is an astronaut on a very important, I think, a Mars mission or something like this. So they have to put him back.
Yeah, how about they put him back because, consent?
Oh, no, he was all about it.
Oh, okay.
He was all about it.
And later he crashes, and then they put bionic, like, arms and legs into him.
Yeah, this guy was Captain Steve Austin. Definitely who it was. But no, they come up with they're going to do the gravity whip again around the sun, and so at one point they'll be going backwards in time again, and then once they hit the point at which they got to Earth, they'll be going forward in time again. And they had 3 or 4 people on board the Enterprise by this time because some shenanigans ensued in getting any evidence of the Enterprise away from the Air Force. And as they're coming forward in time, they're beaming people back into the positions where they were at the time they beamed them out.
Yep.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And then, like, for instance, the pilot is like, oh, I thought I saw something, but now I don't. And there was a security guard that they beamed up because he caught Kirk stealing some radar footage or something like this. And he hears something, and then they beam him into himself, and then they're gone. It's pretty tacky. But anyway, they get out of that, and they get back to back to normal, because it's episodic television, 1966, I think, right?
Right.
Okay, fun fact. They called this thing that they had a black star. The term black hole was not coined until 1967.
Yep.
A year after this episode
you think
was
they
made.
would have called it a black hole if that's what they...
I'm certain they would have. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
So if I remember my astronomy classes correctly, black star was like, I don't want to say it was like an alternative to a black hole, but it was like another theorized potential answer to like what could be causing these huge gravity pulls.
Interesting.
There you go. Next time Kirk went back in time, I'm going to skip. We'll come back to that at the end. So we'll move on to season 2, episode 26, Assignment Earth. So the Enterprise actually goes back in time on purpose to 1968 to research the launch of basically a nuclear bomb platform into orbit. Because the Federation is curious as to how we avoided blowing ourselves the fuck up. So they sent the Enterprise back there to figure it out. And the Enterprise intercepts a transporter beam from some corner of the galaxy. And they grab the transporter beam. I don't know how they do this, and beam this guy into the transporter room. And here's this dude. And he says, oh, I'm Gary 7. I'm a human. You've intercepted me. I need to get to Earth so I can keep Earth from blowing itself up. And they're like, how did you get here? He goes, well, these are really advanced aliens. Trained me, took me from Earth, trained me, and are now sending me back to do this shit. So you need to let me go. And Kirk's like, get the fuck out of here. So shenanigans again ensue. And Kirk eventually realizes that Gary 7 is in fact as good as his word. That is what he's trying to do. And Kirk, by interfering, is actually nearly causes the accident, the incident that he was trying to stop. So they let Gary 7 go to Earth, do his thing, and they motor on and go back to the future, I guess, at the end of it. It's really implied. So fun facts for this episode. This episode is actually a backdoor pilot that Gene Roddenberry wanted to do, called Assignment Earth. And that was the basic plot, was that the aliens had sent this dude down to Earth to help humanity not blow itself up.
I don't, because then we would, as the audience, be like, well, I wonder what happened to Gary's 1 through 6. And Gene's like, have I got a show for you?
I never thought of that.
You know what's really funny, Chief? There's been rumors for like the last couple of years now that they might actually be trying to make a Gary 7 show again.
Interesting. That is wacky, actually. Yeah. Okay.
They did make it. It's called Quantum Leap.
Okay, so another fun fact. He had a secretary, this guy. Her name was Roberta Lincoln. And that character was played by Terry Garr, who later went on to, well, she did many, many things, including Young Frankenstein, Mr. Mom. She was also in, something else I wanted to mention that she was in. But anyway, Terry Garr. This was like one of her first fairly key roles. Okay. Next one is, this was kind of interesting. It's season 3, episode 23, and it's called All Our Yesterdays. And there's this planet which is sun is about to go nova, so the Enterprise goes to see if there's anybody there they need to rescue. Although they're a little late, the fucking sun's about to go nova. But they find out that there's only one building with power, so they beam into the building and find out it's kind of a library, a history library. And it's run by this librarian named Mr. TOS. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? You should have gone forever ago. Like And he basically, it's a library of history, and they have these little discs, and these little discs are actually program a time door, a time that they can look through, and then they're looking through it, and Kirk hears, and it's like old timey England. It's like not Elizabethan, maybe kind of in that area, like musketeers and shit. I don't know. Anyway, he hears a woman screaming, so he, like, without even thinking about it, jumps through the window and finds that he's back in time. And Spock and McCoy are just like, oh my God, and they go jumping through a window, but the window they're looking at has like this frozen wasteland. So Kirk finds himself in this planet's past and gets arrested as a witch. And meanwhile, Spock and McCoy find themselves in this planet's like far distant past, like an ice age. And they end up being rescued by this woman named Zarabeth, who is a political exile. And Kirk finds somebody who came from the future, from the dying time of the planet, and who helps him get back to the library. And it turns out that what's going on is they know the planet's dying, so everybody who was alive has escaped into the past. That's what's going on here. And then Kirk sets about finding McCoy and Spock, and McCoy and Spock had their own thing going on, but eventually they make it out. And then at the very end, Mr. Atos says, I got to get out of here. So he goes and jumps into his own little disc. He puts a disc in, jumps in, and he's gone. And then you see the Enterprise warping away, and the star blows up. So that is yet another time Kirk has gone into the past. Fun fact on this one, the librarian's name is Mr. Atos, and that is spelled A-T-O-Z, or in other words, A to Z, which is a pretty good name for a librarian.
Oh.
Fucking dorks,
Okay.
man. The 60s were. They didn't have good humor then.
The next and final time, as far as we know, that Jim Kirk went into the past was, of course, Star Trek IV, Save the Whales, or officially The Voyage Home. I'm not going to go into the story there because everyone knows the story there.
Actually,
know
Mariah
now.
Mariah watched that movie for the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I get that reference.
Wow.
Get that
Okay.
reference.
Yeah, Save the Whales. This film was, fun facts on this one, it was directed by Leonard Nimoy.
I knew that.
It is most often called Star Trek IV Save the Whales rather than The Voyage Home. And it is considered to be the most accessible Trek film for general audiences, for people who are not Trek fans.
Do you not
it's a good
have
movie.
the further fun fact about Leonard Nimoy in this movie?
Oh wait, do I know it?
Mariah, do you remember?
Where he wanted,
can't remember.
he didn't. There's only one like fight scene, and it's or whatever, and they shoot the door handle open. There's actually no violence in this one.
There is no violence in the movie yet because Leonard Nimoy wanted to shoot a non-violent Star Trek movie, and the only way they were going to let him do that is if he agreed to direct Search for Spock first. So Leonard Nimoy also hated Search for Spock, which is hilarious. But if you watch Star Trek IV, the only time a gun is fired is they shoot a door lock in order to like rescue some people.
Oh, okay. I don't think I did know that, but that's very interesting.
I knew that.
And the other fun fact I have for this is that the whole joke about transparent aluminum actually turns out that there is a real material that is transparent aluminum.
Yeah, we're still working on it. It's not that good.
No, it's not that good, but it is a thing.
Hello, computer.
All right, so I'm going to back up to the computer. How quaint. To the third time Kirk went back to the past, and that is season 1, episode 28, The City on the Edge of Forever. So in this episode, the Enterprise is researching the source of ripples of space-time, and they find that it is a planet. And during some operations, McCoy becomes injected with a drug that basically makes him insane. He escapes the Enterprise, beams down to the planet. They beam down to go find him, and they end up talking to this, basically the Guardian of Forever, who is an AI enhanced time machine. And while they are talking to the Guardian, McCoy appears and jumps into the Guardian, who's shaped basically kind of like a big donut. And it's a big circle.
Was he on
and
bath
disappears.
salts? Was that the drug?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
It was cordazine or something like that. It was supposed to like settle a heart flutter. But anyway, and then they find out that something has changed and the Enterprise is no longer there. So they decide Kirk and Spock need to go back into the past to figure out what McCoy has done and undo it. So they go back into the past, and it is 1930 New York, and they meet a social worker named Edith Keeler, who is played by Joan Crawford. And then while they're waiting for McCoy and trying to figure out, because they got back before he did, and trying to figure out what he changed, Kirk falls in love with Edith Keeler. At this point, they realize, or Spock realizes, that in order for the timeline to be restored, Edith Keeler has to die in an accident. That is what changed. Short time thereafter, McCoy does show up, and they run into each other, and Spock, McCoy, and Kirk.
What are you doing here?
Basically, yes. And then faced with the and then Kirk has to make the decision about what he's going to do, which he does. And that's kind of, I won't say that's the end of the episode, because there's a lot going on here. Sydney, so kind of, I don't know the fun facts, but some of the facts about this episode are, this is actually a really interesting episode. It's a really good episode, too.
It is considered one of the best, and I know because I know the title, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
It is universally considered to be one of the 10 best episodes of Star Trek, of all Star Trek. It is often considered to be the single best episode of Star Trek ever. Right.
It's that one and followed by Sub Rosa.
It is, so here's some fun facts about it. It is the one of only 2 Star Trek episodes to win a science fiction award for script. This one and the other one being, anyone want to guess?
Is it also TOS?
No.
Measure of a Man.
Although the themes are actually kind of similar in a way, about sacrifice and loss.
Is it the Jean-Luc Picard's no longer a Borg and talks to his brother and is sad? Family ties?
But it is Picard. It's the Inner Light with Picard.
Oh, Inner Light. God, what a fucking... We're not gonna talk about the fact that he was just gaslit for like 100 years or whatever.
You are so freaking cranky.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I was cynical.
I like good shit, like Dead Stop, and that Enterprise episode with the Vulcan zombies.
So that one and the one where Tasha Yar gets kidnapped by the African people are probably my 2 favorite episodes.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
What about the episode where she gets killed by the trash bag monster?
Oh, the trash bag monster. That is a good one.
Or the episode where she gets raped by Data.
Oh my God.
I think it was what's the word I'm looking for?
Consensual?
I think she was into it. Consensual.
Data says out loud that she is inebriated and it wouldn't be appropriate, and they fuck.
Yeah, well, Data's also inebriated. So.
No, he wasn't. Not yet.
Yes, he was. He absolutely was. You could tell by the way he was talking. But anyway, okay, so other fun facts. Joan Collins was considered to be a big star at the time. So she was kind of a feather in Star Trek's cap to get her. Kirk allowing Edith Keeler to die is often cited as the defining moral moment for that character, and the original script was written by Harlan Ellison, who was obviously a huge, well-known and successful science fiction writer. So, and here's where things get kind of interesting: is Ellison's original script treatment was a really good story, but not good Star Trek, because Ellison wrote this before the series actually started broadcasting. It was being filmed, but it hadn't been out yet. So he didn't have a really good feel for the characters. So he wrote a good story that did not fit with the characters and the tone of Star Trek. They went for a couple rewrites, and they never could get quite what they wanted out of it. So Roddenberry, DC Fontana, and another writer heavily rewrote the episode so that it didn't resemble, the themes kind of resembled Ellison's story, but very little else did. Ellison had the ass about it for the entire rest of his life. He never forgave Roddenberry, and like said on multiple occasions, if he ever saw him face to face again, he would punch him in the goddamn nose.
All right, I don't want to.
Ellison was about 5'5".
I don't.
Roddenberry is about 6'2".
Yeah, Roddenberry's a tall motherfucker. I don't want to be a crass, but like, dude, get the fuck over yourself, man.
Oh yes, absolutely. No, Ellison was a dick, and he wrote a fair amount of television. He wrote not just science fiction. He wrote episodes of The Flying Nun, for instance.
Yes, remember, Mariah? I was just talking about The Flying Nun last week.
So you don't know what that is?
No, I have no fucking idea, man.
Well, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, good.
Anyway, it was not science fiction. Only it kind of was. But anyway, Sally Fields was the star. But Ellison was like a huge asshole. But of course, so was Roddenberry. So it was just like this long running thing. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And that's it. That is my deep dive into the times Jim Kirk has gone into the past.
Coolio. Well, thank you for that. I can't wait to go watch all those episodes after we're done with Strange New Worlds. All right. Well, we will be right back after a brief break with a potpourri. Welcome back. So for today's potpourri, given that this episode was very kind of TOS centric, and that's the only Star Trek I can rely on Dad's knowledge of, I have composed some TOS trivia for the two.
Oh, this is going to be awful for me.
Oh, 100%.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Especially after Dad going through all that shit by memory in the deep dive, you're fucked. But anyways, I don't feel like pulling up a buzzer or anything. Just like, I don't know. We'll go back and forth, I guess. So we'll start with Dad since he's the guest, all right?
All right.
Okay, so famously on the original series, Spock could mind meld with pretty much anything. So here are a list of 4 things.
4.
Which of these is not something that Spock melded with, like, on camera? Okay?
On camera.
Right, like, I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what he may have
on
cited
his own
before.
time. I get it.
So,
Spock, where you going with that banana, buddy?
So, there's a rock monster, an autonomous space probe, a non-corporeal glowing cloud, and a megalomaniacal supercomputer.
The computer.
That is correct, yes. The rest of those are things that Spock absolutely mind melded with, including the autonomous space probe.
The Horta, Nomad, and those glowing clouds in that one. Oh, no, it was the Changeling.
No, it was the Medusians.
No. Oh, you're thinking of that one? Okay. No, I'm thinking of the one with Cochrane. Zephyr Cochrane.
Yeah, I don't think he... I went through Memory Alpha for all the times that mind melds happened in TOS, so if they didn't call that one out, then I might have missed that one.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. They used the Universal Translator for that one. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm impressed that you just pulled Nomad out of your ass, though. That's fuck. Yeah, Rob, you are boned, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm screwed. This is
right.
This is going to be a bloodbath.
Speaking of which, for Rob, so famously, and Rob, we did a kind of game on this a while ago. McCoy is a doctor, not a lot of other things, right? Here is a list of several things that he said. One of these is not one that he says he's not. Okay. So.
Okay.
He says, "I'm a doctor, not a mechanic, an engineer, an escalator, a pilot, a bricklayer, a coal miner."
Pilot.
That is correct, actually. Yes, he has never said pilot. All right, Dad.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
Um,
100%
I mean, I'm not 100% certain I would have gotten that one.
Dan, including the TV show and the original movies, not the Kelvin timeline. How many women did Kirk sleep with, including past dalliances that were described on screen? And I'll give you like a margin of error.
Okay.
Dad's using his fingers, counting.
I am literally counting on my fingers. Man, it was a fair number, but it wasn't a huge number. I'm just gonna go with a nice round dozen.
Okay, I'll give you the point. The number is 13. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Although only 8 of them are like canonically confirmed, the other 5 are like 60s era implied, but not like definitely.
They faded away. Yeah.
All right. Rob, given your disadvantage here, I'm going to give you, I originally intended this next question to be one for both of you, but I'm actually going to give you an opportunity to get 2 points. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
There are 2 episode titles from the TOS that contain the word tomorrow. Can you name them? Now, as a hint, Dan actually said one of them in the deep dive.
I actually said
he
one.
He sure did, didn't he?
And that, of course,
good thing we
the
were
question
listening
because
the whole time.
Today's episode's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow Tomorrow. There are 2 episodes of TOS that include the title word tomorrow.
Or I think it was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
No, that was today's episode.
Dan,
if you
how
can
about
today and today and today.
How about Die Another Tomorrow and Tomorrow Never Dies?
Dan, if you could give me both of them, I'll let you have a point.
Okay. Tomorrow's Yesterday is one of them.
Yep, that's the one you said during the deep dive.
Yep. There's 79 original episodes.
Sure. Thanks. That's not what I asked you.
No. So I got to go through them all. I got to go through 78 of them.
I am so
This
fucked.
autistic motherfucker is just naming titles in his head. He's like, okay, so it starts with fucking Strange New World. What is the first episode? It's some Star Trek bullshit.
The first one is the first episode of the new series was
Strange New Worlds.
Where no man has gone before.
That's it. Where no man has gone before. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm not gonna sit here and think through it.
It is Return to Tomorrow.
That's the one with the 3 people in the that take over.
It's Back to Tomorrow.
Spock, Return to Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dad, the first time we see a Klingon leader, his name is Kor. This is in An Errand of Mercy.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Here are like 5 things. Which of them was not included in his facial hair / like makeup situation? Okay. Arched hairy eyebrows, a Fu Manchu mustache, a center-parted soul patch beard, big 60s hair, brown face.
He did not have big 60s hair.
No, he did. He had a crew cut. That's correct.
Yeah. But all the rest of that sounds about right.
Yeah. He's fucking insane looking. He's a wild-looking man.
Yep.
All right, and then I've got a lightning round. So I'm going to give you the name of an episode. You have to give me the big bad from the episode. Rob, you're going first.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay?
Okay.
The Man Trap.
The Man.
Salt Monster.
Was that a real guess, Rob?
Oh, Man Trap. God. The people with the big heads and the throbbing veins.
Ooh.
Oh no, that was that's in the cage.
No.
Those are
It's the cage. It's the Salt Monster. Come on.
Salt Vampire. I'm not going to give it to you because you're already winning.
No, that's okay.
Dad, the episode is Arena.
Oh, come on.
Oh, the corn.
Good.
Yeah, no, that's too easy.
Rob, Space Seed.
Con.
Good.
Oh, good one.
Dad, the Ultimate Computer.
That was it was the computer. If you want the
It's
designation of the computer, I think it was the M5.
Fuck me. Yeah, it was the M5.
Jesus Christ.
My answer was just like technology, I guess. No, wait, AI. Is large language models. Rob, the Menagerie parts 1 and 2.
I mean, robbing Vanehead dude mans.
Ooh, there's a villain that's bigger than them in this.
Disabilities.
That's right. The scariest villain of them all, disability. Good job.
Well,
That's literally what I have written down. Yep.
It doesn't surprise me.
Wow,
He's
okay.
constantly pissed off about Pike being worried about his future.
No, I am tracking that. I'm tracking that. Okay.
Awesome. So where's our score stand, honey?
John has 5 and Rob has 3.
And to the surprise of no one, Dad won that trivia.
We could have done TNG. I'm not terrible at TNG. I did see them all.
Yeah, no, Rob would have crushed you, and you're our guest, so we're not. Yeah, the more I read about like TOS episodes, the more I'm excited to get to them because they sound fucking unhinged.
There is a certain amount of like silver and gold era sci-fi that's kind of thrown in there, and like
Right.
a lot of it is very I don't want to say cerebral because it makes it sound more impressive than it is, but like high concept, I guess. It's like high concept
right.
sci-fi.
Yeah. It's a lot of the episodes, not all of them, of course, but a lot of the episodes are just beautifully shot, like movie quality as opposed to the typical like TV westerns you had at the time.
Especially the first season, the sets like for the time were incredible.
Yeah, and the lighting and the costuming, especially the women, is amazing. So yeah, Roddenberry managed to put together a really good team.
Cool. Well, that'll do it for us this week. As we say at the top and the bottom, give us a rate, give us a review, give us 5 stars. We are 5-star people. Dad, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you stepping in while Chris is on vacation.
I hope he's having a good time.
So do I. Although I doubt he could be having as good of a time as we had with you.
That is correct.
All right, and then that will do us. So good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.